It's Monday, August 21st. This is the CBC Morning Report. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, Barbadians may soon have an extension of time taken for maternity and paternity leave. Minister of Labour, Social Security and Third Sector Colin Jordan says studies and assessments have been completed and he'll be recommending to Cabinet the introduction of a 6-month period for paternal leave. He made the revelation during an interview on the Public Affairs programme One-on-One last evening on TV8.
We have now completed some assessments, and I will say to you that what now is also on the table is an extended period of parental leave. Now that, let me be clear to say, that has not gone to the Cabinet, but it is something that is being discussed because out of this, and one of the suggestions is that we could move to parental leave for a period that even extends beyond the current maternity, plus the increase we were looking at, plus the paternity, even beyond that.
You're skirting. Give me in terms of some time frames that you're looking at.
So we are looking at adding at least 1 month.
So we go to 4 months.
Right. So a month for paternity, 3 months for maternity. But we're also looking at increasing maternity by a month. Now, all these things cost. One of the suggestions that we are now considering is the possibility of even going to 6 months of a total parental leave.
Total parental leave.
Yes. Now, that is based on the recommendations that have come to me. So I have not yet gone to the Cabinet because that's something that I'm working through to decide what I will propose to the Cabinet for Cabinet to consider.
Mr. Jordan says even before paternal leave becomes a reality, he expects there will be an increase in maternity and paternity leave by the end of the year.
There will be, in the not too distant future, an increase in leave. An increase in leave. If it is just an additional foot to the maternity plus paternity, or if it is parental, there will be an increase in leave. And we hope that that will go, again, maybe we need a suite of measures in terms of encouraging ladies to have more children, those who want to have more children. Mm-hmm. But we are looking at the matter of leave. And government has already, through the Cabinet, agreed to increases in leave based on what the studies show to be feasible. I'd like to see that before the end of this year, the calendar year. I'd like to see that before the end of the calendar year. Okay. That is my intention.
The minister also made an assessment on the current climate of industrial relations in Barbados. In his opinion, the situation is tense after recent strikes and protests, but it's not to boiling point. He offered suggestions on how to ease tensions while defending his Labour Department.
From where I sit, I am getting the impression that there needs to be more dialogue between management of organizations and workers in the organization. A lot of the issues that end up coming to the Labour Department, that end up coming to me, and I have to deal with these from time to time. The public doesn't see all the things that I'm involved in. So sometimes people believe that, the Minister of Labour, what's the Minister of Labour doing? Every time I put out a fire, I'm not going to the public. Because not every fire everybody needs to know about. You deal with issues and you try to resolve issues. Many of the issues that come to us stem, in my view, from a breakdown in communication. A breakdown in communication between those who lead and those who are led. If we are to get past this situation, if we're going to improve our industrial relations, there has to be a recognition that workers are human beings. We have to get back to the golden rule. Treat people how you would want to be treated yourself. Engage with people.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, coup leaders in Niger warn against military action by the African neighbors.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad?
Niger's coup leader has proposed a 3-year transition of power after meeting a delegation of West African leaders, but warned that any attack on the country would not be a walk in the park for those involved.
3 weeks after the coup, Niger's military is under pressure. Sanctions imposed by the regional bloc ECOWAS have cut off imports of food, electricity, and medical supplies. And the leadership isn't happy.
Those who have imposed these cruel sanctions and threatened to kill thousands of Nigerians are hoping to divide and impose their will on our people. They think they can force us to accept what is deeply unacceptable because it is contrary to our interests and to our cardinal values. They want to isolate our country at a time when our people most need community and solidarity to better face terrorism and insecurity.
With public servant salaries still unpaid and shortages of essential goods, the military risks losing its support base. For now, though, it can count on these people in the capital. Thousands rallied on Saturday, volunteering to join the army to fight against any potential intervention by ECOWAS forces. Against that backdrop, a delegation from ECOWAS held talks with the coup leader, General Abdurrahman Chiani. They also met President Mohamed Bazoum, whom the junta accuses of treason for acting in the interest of a foreign state, a reference to France, the former colonial power.
We met him, we heard from him, and what was done to him. He told us about the problems he's facing that we will take to the leaders that sent us here.
The visit is seen as a potential breakthrough, as the junta has agreed to dialogue and announced a 3-year transition to democracy. But with Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso failing to deliver on their transition promises, it's not clear how ECOWAS will respond.
The will to act militarily is to stop what could be seen as a contagion of coups. There's been coups in Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Countries who carry the ECOWAS mandate, like Senegal and the Ivory Coast, want to stop this, but these states are seen as being too close to France, the former colonial power.
In Nigeria, people are divided over support for regional intervention. The impact of sanctions are also felt here. Businesses estimate they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars a month since the borders with Niger were closed. The coup leader's primary concern is to have those sanctions lifted, something that's only likely to happen if ECOWAS accepts General Chiani's proposed timeline for a transition to democratic rule. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Abuja.
Well, here's how this has been playing out. On July the 26th, the military seizes power and detains President Bazoum. Regional leaders and the United Nations immediately condemn the takeover. On July the 30th, regional bloc ECOWAS warns the coup leaders that they've got 1 week to reinstate the president or face potential military action. A few days later, August the 6th, nearly 30,000 supporters of the coup hold a rally in the capital, Niamey. That demonstration coincides with the deadline set by ECOWAS for Bazoum to be reinstated. On August the 8th, the junta appoints Ali Mahaman Lamine Zain as Prime Minister, and on the same day, ECOWAS imposes more sanctions on the military.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has welcomed an historic decision by the Netherlands and Denmark to provide U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets for his country to counter Russia's invasion. Zelensky sought the advanced warplanes for months to strengthen Ukraine's Soviet-era Air Force as it pursues a grinding counter-offensive against Russian forces in the east.
He can imagine that the situation is going to change in the coming weeks and coming months because Russian air forces have become emboldened by the fact that less and less Ukrainian aircraft were able to take to the air and intercept and fire missiles at them. So without a sufficient number of airplanes, the Ukrainian Air Force cannot maintain its territorial, its airspace integrity. We're going to see in the coming months more Ukrainian airplanes, and therefore this will probably push back the Russian Air Force strikes. These airplanes are multi-role, and because they are fitted with a very comprehensive electronic suite, and even the older generation F-16s that we are talking about now have been modernized repeatedly. They are capable of air defense, they are capable of reconnaissance, including electronic suppression, jamming missions, and of course striking capabilities, so air-to-ground capabilities as well.
It's time to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados at 6:30. Today we're taking a big swipe at mental health. We'll be talking about exercise and how it impacts on your mental health, as well as self-care. That's all coming up. Plus, we're telling you about the 50th anniversary of the Barbados Community College. There's a big reunion coming up that we're going to share more information about with you. And skateboarding is back. We have a special feature. That's all at 6:30, but next we still have more news, sports and weather. So stay with us.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and
Former Minister and Senator John Williams passed away last evening. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley, in paying tribute, says Barbados has lost one of its sons of the soil. She noted that Williams' life and legacy has been a blessing to Barbados, as he served with distinction as a senator, parliamentary secretary, minister of state and chairman of several statutory bodies, always going above and beyond the call of duty, whether his assignment be for the Rotary Club of Barbados South, his church, or his country. Ms. Motley offered prayers and condolences on behalf of her family, the government, and the people of Barbados. Williams, who passed on his 74th birthday, leaves to mourn his wife Celia and his two sons Greg and Stephen. There has been added exposure for Destination Barbados with the country's participation in the just concluded Panama Rum Fest. Barbados Tourism Marketing Corporation officials, including Director of Latin America and the Caribbean and Sports, Corey Garrett, were among those in the Central American nation for the event. The BTMI took advantage of the event's large gathering of industry professionals, influencers, and rum enthusiasts to raise awareness about Barbados as a leading rum tourism destination. Barbados also promoted its Food and Rum Festival. Business Development Officer Ashley Phillips participated in a radio tour with partners Grupo Grada, which owns 15 stations across Panama. Deputy Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson believes all teaching and non-teaching staff at the island's educational institutions, along with students, need to be educated more about fire safety and its importance. She made the comment as 33 fire cadets graduated from the Arch Hall St. Thomas Fire Academy during a special ceremony that signaled the end of 5 weeks of specialized training. The cadets included juniors between the ages of 12 and 15, along with seniors between the ages of 15 and 18.
I understand that some of them didn't even want to come. And after a day or two, they said, okay. I was actually talking to one of the instructors before, and she said she asked a particular young man, will you be back next year to continue? And he said, is that a question? Of course I will be there. I was also informed by Mr. Broom that the program will be rolling out to some of our secondary schools as an extracurricular activity, and I really want to commend the fire service for doing that. We need that in all of our schools, public and private.
The Deputy Chief says the island schools have developed and implemented safety plans, which include fire safety plans. She says these require the schools to conduct regular fire drills, have well-maintained alarm systems, and keep exits clear.
These plans will be renewed annually by the school's Health and Safety Committee. So therefore, fire cadets, I am encouraging you, when you return to your schools, make sure that you go to your principal, and if I can get the names of the students and the ones in the schools, I will tell the principals that they will be coming to them, and I want them to play a part in the Health and Safety Committee at the schools.
Dominica is to have a new president in October. That's the word from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. President Charles Saverin's second 5-year term as president will come to an end on October 1st. Prime Minister Skerrit is to engage with the opposition as the selection process advances.
The new president, I believe, will take up office in October 1 or October 2? October 1. So we need to have the consultation in advance of that. I thought then I had less time when I indicated the earlier date for engagement, but I've been advised I have more time to engage in consultations. So I believe in the next few weeks I will be engaging the leader of the opposition as required by the Constitution on the government's nominee or my nominee as Prime Minister for the office of President. If the Constitution provides that if she agrees with my nominee, then there will be no elections, no voting. There will be no voting. We will just present the name to the Parliament. If she doesn't agree, then there will be a voting for president, and any member is free to submit a name as a candidate, obviously following the provisions of the Constitution and the qualification requirements to hold the office of president.
An activist group in the Bahamas, as it continues to speak out against child abuse, is calling for mandatory minimum sentences for perpetrators. Our News has that story.
As activist groups continue to lobby for the protection of people against violence, Rise Bahamas is seeking to ensure that children fall within that category and are prioritized. Earlier this month, police reported an increase in cases of unlawful sexual intercourse. Activist and president of Rise Bahamas, Mornin Barbados, says stiffer penalties are needed for people convicted of crimes against children.
We realize that there are maximum sentences for crimes. A crime of rape would have a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. I've never once seen someone go to jail for raping a child and get a life prison sentence. So we want to say, if you're not going to give a life sentence for raping a child, you need to have at least a sentence in place, something like 20 years or something like that. That's sufficient.
Barrows is also calling for restorative justice, noting that once perpetrators are charged and jailed, it is also important to ensure that there are proper rehabilitation programs.
Because we see that there are a lot of repeat offenders with sex offenders in the Bahamas. We know that Marco Archer was not taken and abducted and murdered arbitrarily. He was murdered by someone who had already been convicted of a number of crimes against children.
Earlier this month, a 9-year-old girl was sexually assaulted after she was taken by a man while playing with friends outside her Lazaretto Road home. Barrow says there needs to be greater concern for the safety of all children.
We see that a lot of times, particularly young girls, maybe between the ages of 13 and 15, go missing. And a lot of times the response by the Bahamian public is, oh, she gone by man. The response should be, oh, she is likely a victim of statutory rape. We need to intervene. We need to charge whoever was associated with that and deal with these issues.
Now, to see more of Rise Bahamas' concerns or to sign the petition, you can visit change.org/Child Protection 242.
Even with a significant decrease of over 50% in adolescent pregnancy rates in Jamaica, stakeholders from the United Nations Population Fund and the National Family Planning Board continue to express their apprehensions. Jamaica is ranked 3rd in the Caribbean for teenage pregnancies. CVM Television has that report.
49.9% of births in 2019 was attributed to teens 15 to 19 years old, according to the WHO.
Adolescent pregnancy in Jamaica is problematic. We are 3rd ranked in the Caribbean as far as adolescent pregnancy is concerned. Almost 50% of all births are to women, adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 years. Problematic. It means a life of diminished economic and educational opportunities.
It's why, she says, handing over of IUCD equipment to the National Family Planning Board will play a critical role in shaping the future of sexual and reproductive health in Jamaica. She explains the intrauterine contraceptive devices can also help in reducing maternal deaths.
The maternal mortality ratio in Jamaica remains challenging. And we know from the evidence that the best way to avoid maternal death is to avoid an unintended, unplanned pregnancy. We avoid unintended and unplanned pregnancies by increasing access to reproductive health commodities.
Meantime, accepting the devices and the crucial role that accompany them was Executive Director of the National Family Planning Board, Dr. Lovett Byfield.
We also recognize that we have some women within our population who, based on their economic situation, they perhaps should not be having one or more. They should not be having more than 2 children, right? And we find that the rates there that we might be seeing, some of them having 3 and 5, and their ability to take care of those children present a problem for us and for the society and for the economic consideration.
The Luna 25 probe, Russia's first moon mission, is almost 50 years, has crashed on the moon after an incident during pre-landing maneuvers.
Russia's space agency says the craft moved in an unpredictable orbit before colliding with the surface of the moon. The failed attempt is a blow to Moscow's ambitions in the global race to reach the lunar South Pole. Amy Lynn Thompson is a science journalist, and she says Moscow's mission to the moon has great significance for the country's space program.
This was the first mission in 50 years for Russia. It was also the first mission under the flag of just Russia, because the last time they went to the moon, they were under the banner of the Soviet Union. So this was really a mission to prove themselves and say that they could, handle interplanetary missions. They were originally supposed to do this mission with the European Space Agency, but after they invaded the Ukraine, everything sort of fell apart with partnerships around the world. So this was an opportunity to stay relevant in, this burgeoning field of everyone wanting to go to the moon. China has a lander on the far side of the moon. The United States has been to the moon countless times and are planning missions to go back. But in terms of other countries, access to space is more readily available than it's ever been in history. So now all of these countries are trying to do the impossible, to do the great things of getting to the moon, and they're realizing that it's more difficult than what they expected.
Time now for a look at sports. Barbadian Shade Williams is through to today's semi-final of the women's 400 metres at the World Track and Field Championships in Budapest. Yesterday, Williams won her first round heat on 50.78 seconds.
Shade Williams is out in lane 9. She got a bronze last year.
Set.
No way. Shawnee Miller-Uibo tentative out of the blocks there. She's doing a great start from Shade Williams out in lane 9. She's got nobody else to gauge her effort off. Kathy from Barbados just got a runaway here. Probably have a look around at the big board with 100 metres to go and see where everyone else is as the stagger unwinds. But Shade Williams, for me at the moment, the fastest out of the athletes in this race. Van der Vaart of South Africa going well. Paulo Moran of Mexico. Now, what about the Frenchwoman Amandine Brossier? Does she leave anything in her legs after two brilliant efforts in the mixed 4x4 yesterday? 2 times at miles underneath her season's best and her personal best. But look, she's tired, the Frenchwoman. She's battling. Shade Williams home and dry. She will automatically qualify, and she's practically going to walk over the line in a fantastic time.
Williams will be in lane 7 in semi-final 3 at 3:28 this afternoon, Barbados time. In an interview after yesterday's heat, she declared readiness to go even faster. Well, that's today's...
As soon as I got on, I tried just thinking, just 2 more rounds and it's over, because the nerves are too much. So I'm actually very happy that the first round is over and then go on to the next round tomorrow.
How do you kind of manage those nerves that you have at whether it's a big competition or even small competitions like that?
Honestly, I came up with this new motto in my head. I came up with this new motto in my head. So all I'm thinking about is like, let's get this money. So you know.
That's real though.
And honestly, it helps. So, please don't put it.
I see online, you'll like, after you do well in your race, you'll post and then your next slide will be like something like kind of crazy.
A meme? Yeah. I realize my followers like that a lot, so I love to bring that type of energy to my posts.
Nice. And then just after, I think it was Monaco, right? You ran 50 flat, 50 flat, right? That's a big deal. I mean, that's the fastest you've ever run before a championships. Does that kind of give you confidence now into?
Definitely, because I know this year I can go much faster than I did last year. So a whole heap of confidence is there for sure.
And we definitely saw that confidence today. You were running lights out. I'm looking like ain't nobody next to her.
So,
you got to.
I don't know what's going on behind me, so I had to go.
Exactly. And so I know that a lot of other amazing women ended up dropping out or ended up not making it to the next round. And so I want to know what you feel like for you. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Because it might be go. Who knows?
Anything can happen, because I really wasn't expecting like the first heats to go that fast. That just means everyone is going to bring their A game tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be fire.
And you're no stranger to like bringing your A game. You already got a bronze medal, so I mean, it's like you might as well just keep moving up.
This year is on a different level. Like, I have to go this year because the girls are moving.
Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts on how you feel like the women's 400 has elevated this year?
I just think, I don't know what to say about it exactly. I just know that compared to last year and this year, the girls are just, I don't know what was going on this year, but the girls are moving. So I know I have to go too, especially if I want to make it on the podium again.
We definitely look forward to that Barbados flag flying high. Remember, it's 3:28 this afternoon, so tune in and show your support for our girl Shade. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. We had lots of rain this weekend, so before we go, let's take a brief look at how things will shape up for today. The barometric pressure stands at 1009.1 millibars. It's a cool 26.6 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity stands at 89%, and the winds are blowing out of the east-southeast at 15 kilometers per hour. It's presently cloudy outside. Sea conditions Here's what you can expect as you head out today. I know loads of people like to get out early to see what's happening and to take their early morning dips. Moderate in open water with northerly swells ranging from 1.5 to 2 meters. So be careful as you go out for your morning dips. Here's a look at how the tides will roll in for today. And of course, the general forecast for Barbados is what you'll be looking for, a mix of sunshine and clouds with scattered light showers into the evening period. You can expect a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers as well. So that's it for your weather, and that's it for the morning report. Morning Barbados is next.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning. It's Monday, August 21st. Welcome to another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. Of course, you can expect a great deal. Before we talk about that, though, the weather this weekend, pretty good for those of us who love rain. And of course, the island needs the rain as well, water-wise. And if you're a plant person or if you're into agriculture, I know you will love the rain as well, as long as you don't get flooding and things of that nature. So I hope the rain was good to you, and I certainly hope you enjoyed it as well. We know what happens when it rains. People often sleep in. So I didn't see as many cars on the road on my way here this morning. That says to me that people probably were in bed a little bit later. But if you have to head out to work, make sure you make that move, all right? Because we don't want you to be too late today. So today we're going to place a heavy focus on mental health. We'll be talking to Stephanie Whiteman, who's a youth health advocate, on the benefits of exercise and mental health. And that's not the extent of our discussion with her. We're going to focus in on younger people and what we really can look to in the new school term, especially hearing that the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment will be looking to, through the minister, make some changes to or create a national sports policy. So we're going to look at that and how we can engage children more in exercise and more certainly bring adults along for the ride as well. Pardon me. Now, the Barbados Community College is having a 50th anniversary class reunion. That's a big number. We have Sharon Marshall, who's a committee member of the BCC 50th anniversary class reunion. She will be coming with us today, along with Ian Carrington, also a committee member. And they're here to talk to us more about the actual celebration and tell you how you can be a part of it, because they would still love for a few of the people who were a part of that class 50 years ago to come forward and join in the celebrations. So you definitely want to look out for it. There's a big event coming up in October, and we're going to share a whole lot more information about that with you. Plus, there's a young man who loves skateboarding, and he's blind. So he will be here along with his mom and the gentleman who taught him to skateboard. They're going to come and share with us, Paul Wilson and Coco Atama. They're going to share exactly how he's doing, how he fell in love with the sport, and how he continues to grow. That's all coming up on today's edition. I told you we are truly talking about mental health, so we're going to get today's show started with one of my favorite people, Sean Clark. He's CEO, Chairman of Supreme Counseling for Personal Development. And he's back with us again this morning. Good morning to you, Sean.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How did the rain treat you, man?
Well, I really had a good weekend on Saturday. I took about 50 young people on a tour and picnic. Yes, and they really enjoyed themselves. So I had a fantastic
tour picnic in that rain?
In that rain.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to the Wildlife Reserve.
Okay.
And then over to Farley Hill.
I love it. That was one of the treks that we made for our, we used to call them school tours. We love to go to the wildlife reserve and then go over to Farley Hill, and stuff like that really means a great deal to young people.
It really is.
How important is it for them to be able to get out from the traditional classroom setting or the traditional home setting? Some of them, they just need a break. What can that do for mental health?
Well, first it helps with their socialization, because we had young people from the Pine community. We had young people from the Princess Margaret 6 Rose area, and we had young persons from St. Mary's Primary. And these are persons who, they're not friends, or they were not known to each other before Saturday. By the time we finished, they were all talking and laughing and having a good time together.
That's wonderful.
So that really helps with your mental health as well, because you're able to socialize, you're able to talk with persons, meet new friends, exchange stories and so on. So it is very, very important for that downtime. For me, it was very therapeutic, because in my job I'm constantly going and going and going. I got an opportunity to really relax with the young people, to really clear my mind and to really look at the animals and so on at the wildlife reserve, and that was very, very therapeutic.
What about engaging in green spaces, especially for children who are from more urban areas, to be able to head out into the greenery of Barbados, enjoy the pristine countryside here on the island, and be able to experience other places? I would imagine that all of that ties into even helping them to aspire to more.
Yes, and again, that is very therapeutic. You're seeing in the greenery, as you said, you're breathing that country air, and it's someplace new for you. So for some of these young people, it's like, well, we are outside of Barbados, and that really helps them to develop and to look at new horizons and so on. And because of that, again, it really helps them to relax, it helps them to focus, and it helps with the concentration.
Yeah, that's some wonderful stuff. And back in the day, a lot more neighborhoods, I think, used to get together and have, they would call them excursions, not tours. And everybody would kind of do like a potluck, or people would cook, and they would go out to different places on holidays or weekends, particularly at the holiday, like summer vacations. Like now we called it the long vacation. And the children would enjoy that too. Ironically, I don't get to watch a lot of movies, but this weekend I watched a movie, and the interesting thing is it was about a lawyer who was from an inner city neighborhood, and she said that when she was around 10 years old, she got to go to the beach through a school tour. And this would have been, it was set in Los Angeles. And then she got to go on a school tour to the capital, which is in Washington, D.C. And she said that's what opened her scope to the world. She said because of where she grew up, she never thought that she would be able to fit in other places. But seeing these other places and seeing that there were people who were functioning just like she was able to kind of open her mind, and that helped her to really aspire to do better and be greater and live other places. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but it could plant a few seeds. Now let's talk a little bit, Sean, about preserving good mental health in tight economic times, because we know that can be challenging.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it can be. Firstly, we need to identify our stressors as it relates to finances and make a plan. We need to know what are those things that are stressing us out. Is it your utility bills, providing food for the household, whatever? You need to identify those stresses, and you need to make a plan, and you need to execute that plan. It means that when you make that plan, you cannot necessarily move away from that plan. You have to stick to that plan. So you have to determine, for example, okay, I'm going to pay a third of the light bill. I'm going to pay half of the water bill. And in order for this to work, though, the utility companies and other companies need to be on board as well, to realize that these are challenging times and that persons need the assistance in order to cope. Secondly, I think we need to recognize our stress as it relates to finances and how we deal with that stress. Some people deal with that stress in very unhealthy situations like smoking, drinking, gambling, emotional eating, and so on. And you know that then has an impact on a negative impact on your physical health, which can then in turn affect your mental health. Additionally, it can also affect your financial situation, because some of the money that you use to get into excess alcohol and to smoking and so on, that money can go into your plan to help offset some of your bills and provide food for the household and so on. And we need to look at these challenging times to be able to create real opportunity and change. And we've seen that a lot, I think, around the COVID time, or coming out of COVID, where a lot of Barbadians got involved in sole tradership. A lot of Barbadians got involved in doing a little something on the side, whether it be cooking and selling food, whatever. A lot of Barbadians really went that road. The problem with that, however, is that we need to be a bit more creative, because Sandra started to sell food, and then Susan realized, Sandra seems to be getting through with selling food. I can sell food too. And then you have 4 or 5 neighbors all selling food, and it impacts negatively on the income. So we have to be creative in the opportunities and what we decide to do. And maybe we have to come up with a plan. Okay, you sell the food, I'll sell the drinks. And I think those things can really help us to deal with preserving our mental health in these tough economic times.
Would you say that there are specific ways to maintain that positive mindset and kind of stay motivated during challenging economic periods? Because for some people, it feels like they can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, really.
I think paying very close attention to the Bible. And I mean, not all of us are religious and so on, but realizing that joy cometh in the morning, realizing that these times are temporary, realize that these times, yes, in the situation you might feel like, oh my God, this will never end. How will I survive this? But we have to know that joy cometh in the morning. Secondly, we have to get back to the extended family. We need to get back to the community spiritedness. You mentioned earlier about the excursions and communities and so on before. We need to get back to looking out for each other. I remember when I was a little boy, and not aging myself, you could go next door and and get 2-3 spoonsful of salt from your neighbor, and your neighbor needed some sugar, and they came over and they got some sugar from you. It is only when I got to school and studying POB that I realized that it's called barter. So we probably need to get back to a lot more bartering and sharing with the community. Instead of selling all the breadfruits, maybe find out that if Susan next door needs a breadfruit. We need to get back to that kind of life. And I believe as long as we do that, or if we can do that, we will realize that life will become a lot easier.
That's pretty interesting. We're talking about people having some financial stressors and so on, and you're saying that a way to get around it might be sharing.
Yes.
So we're going to delve into that a little bit more after this break. Remember, if you have questions, feel free to share them. You can email them to us on morninbarbados@cbc.bb, without the G, morning without the G. Or you can share your comments on Facebook, on the stream, or on YouTube. We look forward to hearing from you. We're going to take a break and come on back with more with Sean Clark as we continue to discuss financial stressors and mental health and how we can stay on top of things.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League. Plus,
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
A lot of people are always talking about tight economic times. So this morning we want to take a look at how you can kind of maintain your sanity. Sorry for saying it like that, but sometimes that's what it is in these tough economic times. It's challenging for a lot of people. And, you know, even for people who engage and interact with people, Sean, on the daily, sometimes for me it's so challenging because I engage with, on the phone a lot of people who, you know, called me up after the show to share. And it's nothing new. You know, we get it a lot more, I think, in radio. You know, once you're on air, people call up and they will talk to you because they feel like they know you and so on. And there are a lot of people out here who are suffering through really tough economic times. So for those who are indeed helping and sharing, you know, what advice would you have for them as well? Because sometimes it's easy to kind of take on the stresses that are other people's stresses. Or if you have to bring some family members along or bring some neighbors along. You know, sometimes it can be challenging even if you yourself are doing well.
Yes. Well, I'll give you the advice that people give me. Sean, you need to take care of yourself firstly. You need to look after yourself. You can be of no use to anybody else if you are not of use to yourself. So while you're going through all of this and you're giving and you're giving and you're giving of yourself, which at times can be real tiresome or tiring, you need to look after your mental health as well. You need to do things that you enjoy, whether it be listening to music, whether it be watching a quiet movie, whether it be going to the beach, probably just sitting on the sand and looking out at the ocean. You need to be able to look after your own mental health and take that mental health break. You know, it comes to mind, today is a holiday. You know?
Yeah.
I ain't doing nothing today.
I like the words of the song too. All of the words.
All of the words.
All
of them. But you need to say to yourself, I'm not moving today.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be giving all the time. You need to find that time for yourself. For me, when I get to that point and I'm feeling a bit out of it, I turn to social commentary. That's my thing. I can listen to Red Plastic Bag, The Mighty Gabby.
You're such an old dude. You turn to social commentary?
I turn to social commentary.
Goodness.
And sometimes after...
I love it.
after the second or third song, I am up and I'm ready to go again.
Yeah.
Even when I'm in the gym and I'm on the treadmill, other people will probably be listening to disco and soca and so on. Believe you me, I'm listening to social commentary and I'm getting through my exercises.
That's good stuff. And we know that music really dictated our lives. I did a program once called The Soundtrack of Our Lives, you know, invited people to talk about the music that shaped their lives and what they play on Sundays when they're cleaning up, or Saturdays, you know, what they love, what's happening. And for Caribbean people, for a long time, that used to be oldie goldies. I don't know if a lot of people still play oldie goldies, but I knew that really was a sweet spot for a lot of people. So that even can be a way for you to de-stress.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned your favorite movies, but music can help to do it too.
Yes. And then for some persons, for me, if I turn to movies, if I turn to movies, it has to be something very, very soft. So, and again, I'm aging myself, but I will go back to probably Texas Ranger.
Oh,
or the
come
Cosby
on.
Show, or
Walker Texas Ranger?
Yes, things that are light, that are not full of a lot of abusive language or a lot of violence. Because when you're sitting and you're watching a movie, you know, that contains a lot of violence and so on.
Some people will contend that.
As well.
Some people will contend that Walker Texas Ranger, he was pretty violent himself. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but something that is soft, that is soothing, that is relaxing.
Okay.
Not a lot of abusive language, not a lot of gunplay and so on, because those things indirectly can also have an impact on you. And by the time you are finished watching that movie, you feel so tired that you want to know, but what happened? I'm relaxing.
You were fighting inside.
You're fighting inside.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Interesting stuff. What about, what we can look for as maybe signs that our loved ones or friends or neighbors are stressed to the point where they might need a little help or an intervention, not in the traditional sense when I say intervention, but most certainly for you to, check in on them?
Firstly, if you're having a constant headache, and don't matter what you take for this headache, it is not going away. And you find that the headache the pain is moving down into your neck and into your shoulders and so on. That is a sign of stress. So once you get there, you realize that I'm taking all of these painkillers and nothing is happening. Actually, the pain seems to get worse with the more painkillers I take. That's one warning sign. Secondly, you become really aggressive at everything and everybody. So you open the fridge door and then all of a sudden you're aggressive. You go to the cupboard and you're singing a nice little gospel song and you're humming along, and you open your cupboard and then all of a sudden the person gets very, very angry, very upset. That's another sign that something is going on within that person's mind, that they really need to reach out for help.
Absolutely. And then, there might be a number of resources that are available. It really is in your interest to make use of that. So
Yes.
maybe do a little bit of research and find out what's available, whether it's through churches or other community-based organizations who lend assistance. And just know there's no shame in your game, because for some people, I have a friend who says all the time, Bajans need to leave out the pride and keep the industry.
I was just thinking the same thing. You cannot progress with that level of pride where you're suffering silently, and because you want to maintain a certain image in society that you refuse to say anything. I can go to the biggest and most fancy hotel in Barbados in the world, and I can enjoy what they have to offer. But I can sit at home and I can enjoy some white rice with a little butter in between. When I say to the young people that my favorite dish is black-eyed peas and rice with sardine gravy, they laugh at me, but I can enjoy that and be contented. I can eat a piece of roast breadfruit and feel good about who I am, so that there's no shame, as you said, in the game. We need to do what we need to do to survive and to get through these tough economic times.
Yeah, it definitely is about sharing, and maybe it's because my mother is a little more mature in growing up, but what she taught me, there are definitely life skills that I can take forward with me. And I find that a lot of my contemporaries and maybe some people a little younger than me, they don't really know about cutting and contriving. We're going back to you on this red plastic bag and the social commentary. Is that where you learn to cut and contrive?
Well, it's ironic. I was actually thinking about that song this morning. Yeah. Things cut and contrive, things are not easy.
Yeah.
Live within
Some
your
young people will
means.
tell you they don't know what that means.
A little with content is great gain.
It's great gain.
Yes, and we need to be able to teach our young people this. We need to be able to, to let our children know that you're not going to have macaroni pie and baked chicken every day.
Get out of my head.
There's a day that you're going to have to eat a piece of breadfruit. There's a day, and who knows?
And I mean, it can add to your health to not eat like that every day too. Yeah, and then I find, listen, I don't mean to dump on anyone because we really can't gauge who it is, but I find that we've moved away from, making home meals so much. I'm not that old, and I remember a time where you could hardly see people at fast food restaurants in Barbados on Sundays.
Yes.
Now the lines are long from 10 o'clock in the morning.
So true.
So I mean, things have changed, And, you know, like you said, everybody thinks it's a day to eat a big food.
Yes.
So maybe it comes down to financial budgeting, planning, being more realistic about your expectations, and most certainly managing your expectations, I think, is a big takeaway from all that you've talked about. Sharing and, you know, just looking out for everybody. So I'd say my final word would be, you know, make a welfare check for somebody in your life today, a friend, a relative, and just see how they're doing.
Agreed.
Your final word.
My final word, be your brother's keeper. Let's get back to that community.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Matchback Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for our new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
98.1's a one. It's more than a station.
We don't just play music. We keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners.
And we're committed to working with our clients and advertisers to make sure that you get the attention that you deserve.
98.1, the one.
Celebrating 18 and
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's Monday, August 21st. You're tuned to Morning Barbados. It's time now for an update of the news. Barbadians may soon have an extension of time taken for maternity and paternity leave. Minister of Labour, Social Security and Third Sector Colin Jordan says studies and assessments have been completed and he'll be recommending to Cabinet the introduction of a 6-month period for paternal leave. He made the revelation during an interview on the Public Affairs programme One-on-One last evening on CBC TV8.
We have now completed some assessments, and I will say to you that what now is also on the table is an extended period of parental leave. Now that, let me be clear to say, that has not gone to the Cabinet, but it is something that is being discussed because out of the studies that have been done, when Cabinet approved the policy in principle, Cabinet asked that studies be done. The actuarial study has been done, and one of the suggestions is that we could move to parental leave for a period that even extends beyond the current maternity, plus the increase we were looking at, plus the paternity, even beyond that.
You're skirting. Give me in terms of some time frames that you're looking at.
So we are looking at adding at least 1 month.
So we go to 4 months.
Right. So a month for paternity, 3 months for maternity. But we're also looking at increasing maternity by a month. Now, all these things cost. One of the suggestions that we are now considering is the possibility of even going to 6 months of a total parental leave.
Total parental leave.
Yes. Now, that is based on the recommendations that have come to me. So I have not yet gone to the cabinet because I know that I'm working through to decide what I will propose to the cabinet for cabinet to consider.
Minister Jordan says even before parental leave becomes a reality, he expects there will be an increase in maternity and paternity leave by the end of the year.
There will be, in the not too distant future, an increase in leave. An increase in leave. If it is just an additional to the maternity plus paternity, or if it is parental, there will be an increase in leave. And we hope that that will go, again, maybe we need a suite of measures in terms of encouraging ladies to have more children, those who want to have more children. But we are looking at the matter of leave. And government has already, through the cabinet, agreed to increases in leave based on what the studies show to be feasible. I'd like to see that before the end of this year, the calendar year. I'd like to see that before the end of the calendar year. Okay. That is my intention.
The minister also made an assessment on the current climate of industrial relations in Barbados. In his opinion, the situation is tense after recent strikes and protests, but it's not to boiling point. He offered suggestions on how to ease tensions while defending his Labour Department.
From where I sit, I am getting the impression that there needs to be more dialogue between management of organizations and workers in the organization. A lot of the issues that end up coming to the Labour Department, that end up coming to me, and I have to deal with these from time to time. The public doesn't see all the things that I'm involved in. So sometimes people believe that, the Minister of Labour, what's the Minister of Labour doing? Every time I put out a fire, I'm not going to the public. Because not every fire everybody needs to know about. You deal with issues and you try to resolve issues. Many of the issues that come to us stem, in my view, from a breakdown in communication. A breakdown in communication between those who lead and those who are led. If we are to get past this situation, if we're going to improve our industrial relations, there has to be a recognition that workers are human beings. We have to get back to the golden rule. Treat people how you would want to be treated yourself. Engage with people.
Former Minister and Senator John Williams passed away last evening. Prime Minister Mia Motley, in paying tribute, says Barbados has lost one of its sons of the soil. She noted that Williams' life and legacy has been a blessing to Barbados as he served with distinction as a senator, parliamentary secretary, minister of state and chairman of several statutory bodies, always going above and beyond the call of duty, whether his assignment be for the Rotary Club of Barbados South, his church or his country. Ms. Motley offered prayers and condolences on behalf of her family, the government and people of Barbados. Williams, who passed on his 74th birthday, leaves to mourn his wife Celia and his two sons, Greg and Stephen. There has been added exposure for Destination Barbados with the country's participation in the just concluded Panama Rum Fest. Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. BTMI officials, including Director of Latin America and the Caribbean and Sports Corey Garrett, were among those in the Central American nation for the event. The BTMI took advantage of the event's large gathering of industry professionals, influencers and rum enthusiasts to raise awareness about Barbados as a leading rum tourism destination. Barbados also promoted its Food and Rum Festival. Business Development Officer Ashley Phillips participated in a radio tour with partners Grupo Grada, which owns 15 stations across Panama. Deputy Chief Education Officer Joy Adamson believes all teaching and non-teaching staff at the island's educational institutions, along with students, need to be educated more about fire safety and its importance. She made the comments as 33 fire cadets graduated from the Art Hall St. Thomas Fire Academy during a special ceremony that signaled the end of 5 weeks of specialized training. The cadets included juniors between ages 12 and 15, along with seniors between the ages of 15 and 18.
Some of them didn't even want to come. And after a day or two, they said, okay. I was actually talking to one of the instructors before, and she said she asked a particular young man, will you be back next year to continue? And he said, is that a question? Of course I will be there. I was also informed by Mr. Broom that the program will be rolling out to some of our secondary schools as an extracurricular activity, and I really want to commend the fire service for doing that. We need that in all of our schools, public and private.
The Deputy Chief says the island schools have developed and implemented safety plans, which include fire safety plans. She says these require the schools to conduct regular fire drills, have well-maintained alarm systems, and keep the exits clear.
These plans will be renewed annually by the school's Health and Safety Committee. So therefore, fire cadets, I'm encouraging you, when you return to your schools, make sure that you go to your principal, and if I can get the names of the students and the ones in the schools, I will tell the principals that they will be coming to them, and I want them to play a part in the Health and Safety Committee at the schools.
That's it for our news update. We'll have more news for you at 12 noon right here on CBC TV 8. And that will be followed by The World at 1 on our radio stations. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So the time has moved on to 12 minutes after 7 o'clock. It moves quickly along when you're having a good time, right? So I told you we're really delving into mental health today in a major way. So let's welcome now Stephanie Whiteman, who's a youth health advocate. And she's here to talk a little bit more about some of the support services that are available. And there is some type of project afoot to look into youth mental health and socio-social support services and create a directory. So there's a project on. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what initially piqued your interest in research, because that's your area.
Thanks so much. So actually, I've been working within the public health space since 2017, and being in that space and really being evidence-driven is what has piqued my interest in research and why I've been so much in this field. And that's why all of the advocacy I've been doing has been evidence-based, and to ensure that, you know, whatever policies we try to encourage, whatever programs we try to put forth, we'll see the results that we want to have, and to ensure that everything that we do are informed by the persons that are going to use it.
All right, so talk to me about, you know, because it's one thing to do research and then you kind of hone in on specific things. So this is very specific. Youth mental health. Mm-hmm. How did you kind of move into that area, or is it something that chose you based on the research you were seeing and so on?
So how I got into youth mental health, especially for the Caribbean specific, was that it really came light during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I work with some organizations, one of which is the Healthy Caribbean Coalition and the Healthy Caribbean Youth. And during 2020 and 2021, we held 2 youth-led webinars, primarily focused on the school environment. But in those webinars, the children and the youth in the participation of those webinars really started to share their concerns with their mental health, and they were voicing their opinions that they couldn't find any resource sources. So that really was the spark that realized that, okay, hey, this is a problem. Persons are actually speaking up. We need to address this. So fast forward to 2022, we launched a Caribbean Youth Mental Health Call to Action, which was a Caribbean-wide initiative. We focused on 6 countries, Barbados included, where we developed a document of policies that could be adopted by government, how they can be implemented, and just to bring general awareness to Caribbean youth mental health and some of the problems that are faced. So we did consultations with over 50 persons across the Caribbean, youth included, parents, teachers, for what they want with regards to their mental health and what type of services, what type of initiatives that will be beneficial to them.
Wow, so what are some of the services that are beneficial to youth and so on that you found in your search?
I mean, some of the things are already implemented. It just needs bolstering. So for example, increasing the ratio of guidance counselors within schools, training teachers as well as peer mentors within the school system to allow for easy identification when persons are experiencing mental challenges, but then also to maintain good mental health, because it's not just always the bad, it's sometimes the good.
Yeah.
And then also, being able to train law enforcement officers to handle when somebody is in a mental health crisis, when to de-escalate. So those are some of the initiatives. Also, there were some concerns or some wantings of parents to be able to be trained or have some resources to be able to know where to go when they notice signs with their children, and as well as how they can themselves maintain good mental health for themselves as well as for their children.
Okay, so now you're at another place and you want to launch this directory. Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So this directory has been a long time coming. I said we started this full initiative during COVID times, but now it's coming into full fruition. So what this is going to be a child and youth friendly mental health and psychosocial support directory. And what that is that all services that are related to mental health, not just mental health challenges and illness, but also those that are meant to maintain good mental health and to maintain good well-being will all be included in this directory. And it is a Caribbean-wide one, so we're focusing on 12 countries. Barbados is one of them, where we're going to highlight all public and freely available services across the health sector, the education sector, emergency services, and the social and justice sectors.
Okay.
So it's really to be as all-encompassing as possible, and it's to be developed and designed in a way that the end users, so youth, parents, persons who work with youth on a daily basis, will have a resource that they can reach to physically, they can reach to online, to know where to go when they're experiencing certain things. And really, what we really want to be is a unique development. So more than just a typical, directory where we think of like the name of the business, the phone, and email. We want to take it a step further and really create it like a roadmap, a roadmap, and to have as many things that the end users really want. And one way in which we're doing that is we have a survey out right now, and we're asking persons to tell us exactly what you want with this directory. And we're going to try to fit as many things in. And we really want it to be informed by the end users as much. So we want youth to give us the input. We have been having a great response rate thus far. We want parents to tell us. We want teachers. We want camp counselors, coaches to tell us what you want. And then we'll be able to put as much information as physically possible in there, so that it can be an easily readable resource for everyone.
Yeah, that's important. For me, and from where I sit, I don't know if this is a part of what you'll be doing, but for stuff like this, I think it's also important to do some level of vetting, even though it's, public services that are available or those that might be free at the point of service. Definitely want to make sure that you do some vetting and someone is not taking up a phone or calling a number that is just ringing and there's nobody on the other end. Things like that, I think, can be truly detrimental to the fight.
Most definitely. That's why in the first instance, we will be focusing on services that are available through the government. So therefore, we acknowledge that all the services will be qualified, and all service providers will be qualified for the type of service they are providing and the type of program they would be providing. But then also we would be checking those numbers. We would be asking, certain things like how you say the open hours are from 8 to 5, or is it really 8 to 5? Really checking to see how frequent those things can be used, how the phone lines, and what is the best way in order to access these services. So for example, one clinic might have a phone line and you can come in person, but we'll also be asking them, okay, in order to get service as frequently or as efficiently as possible, what is the best method to contact you? So all of that we'll try to be included into the directory to really guide persons, okay, this place you might be able to call and get through, this place is a better in person to go. And to really create that roadmap and essentially like a flow chart on how you can navigate the mental health services in each of our islands. And excuse me, some islands have more services than others, and some are more well developed than others. And we really want to get the entire Caribbean on essentially a similar playing field, and to be able to, wherever you go, you can access this directory, and it will be in similar format. So whether I travel to Jamaica or whether I travel to Antigua, I will be able to pull the same directory and be able to navigate the services that are available in Antigua. Or if I go to Trinidad, I'll be able to experience the same kind of services as well.
Let's talk a little bit about the research that's happening right now. A lot of the times people see a survey and they run away. So let's talk about this survey. People want to make sure that they're sharing information, but there's some level of anonymity, or that they can be sure that the information won't be shared if they share some personal information to them and things like that. How will it be conducted, and how are you seeking to engage with the members of the public?
So this survey is entirely anonymous. You don't give your name or anything in order to give us the information you need. I forgot to mention this earlier, but this project is in collaboration with UNICEF, Eastern Caribbean, Healthy Caribbean Coalition, Healthy Caribbean Youth, and Let's Unpack It. And Let's Unpack It is a youth-led mental health organization here based in Barbados. So we have the back end of UNICEF with all of the back end of things. But then the survey is entirely online. You can access it via, we have a bit.ly link, so it is bit.ly/Caribbean MH mental health survey. You'll be able to access it. And with regards to the anonymity, as I said, we don't collect any names. You just collect what age group you fall under, whether you're male, female, and what country you're from, and then we dive into the questions with regards to the type of information we will want. Do you just want addressed information? Do you just want contact, social media? If you want social media, which social media accounts do you want? What services are the most important ones to you? Where would you want this directory to be advertised? Do you want it only online? Do you want it in schools? Do you want it in public restrooms? We could put a QR code up so we'll be able to get it. So we're really asking them everything with regards to what you wanted it, and then how you want to receive it. And then also, how do we disseminate it after, and what will be the best way to get to you? So some of the questions we have in there are, again, the QR code. Like if we were to put up a QR code with the directory and want to access it, where is the best place to put this QR code? Should we put it at bus stops, in public restrooms, in malls? What type of content, if we were to develop social media content around it, what type of content? Do you want more videos? Do you want graphics? So we try to get as much information as possible, and we even have a box at the end to tell us more. If there's anything else you wanted and that is not currently covered within this survey, you can fill it out and tell us as much as you want in it.
Okay, how long approximately will it take to do the survey?
Just about 10
Maybe
minutes.
10 minutes is the commitment. And then based on what you said, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty massive effort for the rollout. You're in 12 countries. I know that you said it's under the Healthy Caribbean Coalition as well as UNICEF, which are some wonderful Caribbean partners. But do you also have governments across the region on board to be able to roll out in the 12 nations?
Yes. So one of the governments spearheading this is with the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But then throughout our roll-off, we've been meeting with the Ministry of Health with each country, and thus far we've met with about 6, because we just started the project just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So far we've met about 5 or 6 ministries of health, and we have more scheduled within the next coming weeks, where we'll be again discussing the project, see how we can collaborate, and then branching out to the other ministries as well.
Let's talk results. What are you hoping for with this project to be able to roll out this directory across the region, initially in 5 territories, 5 countries? For young people to have a resource to, find places to go or people to talk to, services that are available to them. What are your hopes in the short to medium term?
In the short term, I will really just have the output. Have that directory, have it in everyone's hands, in everyone's phones, everyone's laptops, to be able to have it as easily accessible as possible. And then for persons to be able to feel empowered that, okay, I may not be feeling okay, I can reach out to this particular place or this particular person. And I think in the long term, it will help encourage persons to feel more empowered to speak more about their mental health and to help break down those barriers and the stigmas of accessing mental health services, regardless of what island you're from.
Absolutely. And we forgot to mention that there is some incentive for taking the survey as well.
Yes. So through UNICEF Eastern Caribbean, there is a chance to win 2 Amazon gift cards. They're not begging to $50 Amazon gift cards. So if you do participate in the survey and you want to enter the survey, you'll be asked to put in your name and email address, but that is not mandatory at all to take the survey. Is if you want to, put your name in for the raffle, you're all welcome to do so. But it's not mandatory, but the option is there.
I know sometimes we see a lot of what's happening with us based on what's happening in our individual countries. We don't necessarily take a look at what's happening across the region as we should, or across the world. The fact that you're rolling out a resource like this for mental health accessibility for young people, it says to me that this help is truly needed across the region. So based on the research that would have been done before and what you have found, a final word to our viewers on how youth across the region are faring and why this initiative is so important at this time.
So over the years, when we were doing our consultations with youth across the region, as well as with parents and teachers, one of the main things that kept coming over and over and over in every single interview, every single consultation, is that they may know that services exist, but they don't know where to get them. And they don't know if they are welcomed there, and they're not sure of the procedures. So that's why this initiative is so important, because we're hoping to help build and bridge that gap and fill that space. So at least now you will know, at least for freely available government supported services, this is where you can go. And to help, as I said, fill that knowledge gap, and then we can move on to the next major issue. But sometimes with these things, there are many different facets. There are many different challenges that we are facing. And we can only tackle it sometimes one thing at a time. So the first thing is, let us ensure that everyone knows what services are, how they can access them, and then we can move on to other, bigger fish as we go on in the time to come. All
right, Stephanie Whiteman, I want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us. Youth health advocate, doing fantastic work here in Barbados, and definitely to benefit the entire region. I wish you guys the very best. I'll be logging on and throw my hat in the ring for that $50 gift certificate from Amazon, right? So make sure you do as well. It's a worthy cause, and it truly will benefit all of us. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I wish you the very best. Be sure to come on back and share with the Mornin Barbados team how things are shaping up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And remember to take the survey, please. bit.ly/CaribbeanMH survey. Thank you very much.
All right, good stuff. We definitely will share. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we are talking a 50th anniversary reunion. That's a big number. Hey, but we have some big names coming up. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. CBC is celebrating 60 years of broadcasting in Barbados. A friend and a helping hand in the community.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Over here. All right, so welcome back. It's 7:30, just about. I'm looking this way for the time. It's crazy. All right, so it's 7:30 right here on Morning Barbados, and we're telling you about something that I'm sure is very, very exciting. So we have with us Sharon Marshall and Ian Carrington. They're both committee members for the BCC 50th anniversary class reunion. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tisha. For having us.
All right, so 50. That's a major number.
I know, it's incredible that we've been alive that long.
So let's go back just a bit. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Marshall. Tell me a little bit about your stint at the Barbados Community College.
I entered the Barbados Community College
on the 8th of October 1973. I did my O-levels at Queen's College and wanted to be part of the relatively new BCC, which was 5 years old at the time. And my dear friend Ian Carrington left Harrison College and entered BCC at that time. And the other committee member, Janice Marville, left the St. Michael's School, or the St. Michael's Girls' School as it was at that time, and came to BCC. And we were all in Anne Hewitt's English class and Lucine Bishop's English class. We were in liberal arts, and we've been friends ever since.
Wow, what an amazing story. What was your experience like, Mr. Carrington?
You know, as you look back, you probably appreciate it more. But I certainly had a very good time there, and as Sharon just said, some of the friendships that we formed there have lasted all of the time that has elapsed since then. So it's been really an enjoyable and valuable part of my life, really.
To talk about something that came into being, you said it was just 5 years that the Barbados Community College existed, and I've heard a lot of people who are part of the early students who went there who said it was very different from what they were accustomed to at secondary school, and that was a part of the intrigue.
Indeed.
For a lot of the young people who
For
went
one
there.
thing, you didn't have to wear a uniform. And that was attractive. But you know, our campus was where the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center is now. It was at Sherburne. And it looked completely different. There was a small building and lots of outbuildings where we had classes, but it was a wonderful experience, and I hope that many of our former classmates will have similar sentiments and want to be part of the reunion.
I'm sure there will be, especially now we're jogging their memories about all of the fantastic memories that have gotten us to this place.
Yeah, because we've started reaching out to alumni, and we started receiving photographs. Winston Haynes sent in some photographs from a tour to St. Vincent, which the Geographic Society took, and you see people with their afros, and you remember the good times, and this is our focus on remembering the good times at BCC.
Oh, that's wonderful. Talk to me about how you guys got back together. I know you said that you've been friends throughout the years. So, you know, that's a long time. How did you get back together and say, hey, let's do a 50th anniversary?
Well, that's the story that I'm going to ask Ian to tell, because it's not a question of getting back together. We've been together.
We've been together, at least in our case, a small group of us, Janice, Sharon, and myself, and sometimes the late Tyrone Estrick.
Yeah.
We would get together and we try to do that at least once a year. And usually it was at Christmas time. But basically the bonds that we've formed at community college have kept us in touch with each other since then. I suspect there are other groups of students who have had their own associations that they have kept going. So it isn't to say that we were apart and we are coming together now. Groups have always remained in touch.
So are you all only calling out the students who would be celebrating a 50th anniversary at this time?
We're primarily targeting our former classmates. The thing is, we were in liberal arts. We did English and geography and so on. But there were students in the commercial division, in health sciences, natural sciences, with whom we might not be as familiar. We want them to get excited and to become involved. And not only the alumni, but former teachers as well. Because, as Ian said, we would have our annual get-together. Initially, it started out as a lunch. Then we graduated, we'd have dinners. At first, it was just us, but then we allowed the spouses, as the years progressed,
they allowed the spouses
to become part of the annual gathering. And then we invited some of our teachers, same Ann Hewitt, now Lady Hewitt. And for those former teachers who couldn't come out with us, we would go to their house and take flowers or just meet up with them. And this has endured during several partings, because I left community college and went off to university in Washington, D.C. And worked there for a little while out of San Francisco. Ian left and did his master's in the UK. Janice, the other part of this triumvirate, left and did her master's in the UK. Ian worked in Vienna and DC and Nairobi, but there was always that nucleus. You would get an email saying, okay, I'm going to be in Barbados from December 20th to January 3rd. When are we getting together? Wherever we were. I left Barbados and went to work in the Cayman Islands for about 4 years. And during that time, we all managed to get together who was going to be in Barbados at what time, and we would have lunch or dinner together. So we've kept that friendship going.
It's amazing that you've been able to keep it going all this time.
Yeah, because we were planning our annual, because Janice is going to be traveling, Ian might be away. So we're saying, oh, we're getting together in December. And I think it was Janice who said, but you know, it's been 50 years. When
Yes.
we said we entered 1973. And she suggested, well, perhaps we can widen our annual get-together and include some of our former classmates. And that's really how the grand reunion idea came about.
So tell me what form this grand reunion will take.
Well, the main event is going to be a cocktail function, reception. And interestingly, we've decided to hold it at the Marine, which is part of the college. So we're trying to keep it all in-house. And that's going to be on the 14th of October from 7 p.m. to midnight. We are hoping to actually have some input from the college as it currently exists. Some of the students in the music line, some, if possible, some from the fine arts, if they have an opportunity to bring some of their art on display. But we're trying to keep it all in-house. So we're having as I say, the main event is going to be at Marine Hotel on October the 14th from 7 to midnight, and we're trying to make it as interesting and diverse as possible. We've invited a number of persons to submit their photographs, and we're going to try to come up with a collage and a presentation and so on and so forth. Importantly, we want to involve the college as it is right now. The principal has kindly agreed to get involved in our plans.
Yeah, we're meeting with her on Wednesday. But we're excited because former classmate Anne Henry, she's an attorney in Antigua. She came from Antigua to study in Barbados. She's all excited about coming. Sandra Maynard is coming from Los Angeles. So people are really catching the reunion fever and reaching out to us. And anyone who's interested, please contact us. We've set up an email account, bccreunion50@gmail.com, or
WhatsApp at 829-9799.
829-9799.
So it's definitely a plan.
Yes.
It is.
And we're hoping that there will be other side events, especially for people who are coming from overseas, but we're gauging the level of interest first, and we're going to be working with TicketPal to make it convenient for people to pay their part of the expenses, and we hope to make a contribution to Barbados Community College in honor of our 50th year and the college's 55th anniversary.
It says a great deal about all that has happened here in Barbados and how we've been able to develop through the years in terms of education and otherwise. Mr. Carrington, outside of seeing some of the friends that you might not have seen and meeting some new ones who were at the institution the same time that you were, what are you looking forward to most for this reunion?
Well, what you have just outlined is, I think, the center part of it. The opportunities to meet some of your friends, some people whom I have not seen for as long as as I left the college in 1975. And for me, to share the experiences. In my case, often I reflect on my time at the college. I reflect on the value of the friendships. I reflect on the contribution that the staff made to what I have experienced in my life. So I'm hoping to have the opportunity to meet with others and to share and to celebrate the college. And when I say the college, I mean the staff, the ancillary staff, the professional staffs, our friends and our friendships, and recognize that the college, in all its component parts, made a very important mark in our life.
Ms. Marshall, I don't have to ask you what you're looking forward to. I can see you beaming with excitement.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to the event and to sharing with the former classmates and, as Ian mentioned, some of the current students who will participate in one way or another in the activity, so that there is that intergenerational exchange. It's very important because when I lived in St. Philip and I worked with CDB here just across from LESC, I was giving a young man a ride, and as we passed LESC, I told him, because he was going to community college to Erie campus, and I told him, when I was at community college, this is where our campus was. And he said, oh, but I am so amazed that you're listening to this kind of music on your radio, because I thought you would be listening to Mantovani or some music like that. So that, for me, that struck me as really humorous.
Yeah, we truly are missing that kind of intergenerational engagement. Yeah. So it's wonderful that you are going to be inviting present students and some immediate past students to participate as well, whether it be through art or music or in other ways. But most certainly this is your call out, or these days the city shout out to the people who will be celebrating 50. So that will be 1973 was the year you graduated?
That's the year we entered. So we're celebrating.
You entered in 73
and graduated in 75. So we're celebrating entering the college. We started at the college. And the most critical current students who will be involved in the celebration will be those from the hospitality industry who will be preparing the food.
So that's good stuff. So, you know, I would imagine people are here thinking, because in my head I'm thinking, do I know anybody who might be, you know,
I'm sure you do.
Your parents might.
Yeah, my mother is a little older. Yeah, so possibly not mom, but
yes.
Yeah.
So we hope that all our former classmates have similar sentiments about their experience at the college and would want to celebrate that and to reminisce with other alumni.
All right, absolutely. And there's an email address, you know, true to form. You know, we always these days have WhatsApp numbers to reach out to, and that's good because wherever you are in the world, you can, of course, reach out as well. It's the 50th anniversary class reunion. You know, it will be hosted in the form of a cocktail reception.
Yes.
So,
And even if you can't come, we still would love to have your recollections and your photographs to share with everyone who will be present.
all right, excellent. Any final words?
No, thank you for having us here. And just to reemphasize that we really want to celebrate 50 years is a long time. The college or any education institution has usually made more of an impact on your life than you think. But when you get to the stage we are and you reflect on it, you recognize the value of the years you spent in such an institution and the friendships that you have, and we're celebrating all of that.
Those are a lot of final words for no final words.
Well, I'll tell you, the 7th of September is the date that we really need to know if people are going to come. And then by the 11th, we would love to have your contribution. We've already made the deposit to Pomerine, but we need to be certain about the numbers so that we can make any adjustments necessary. So please respond by the 7th of September and let us know if you're coming and if you'll be accompanied, because in the generosity of spirit, we're inviting you to bring a guest. So bring your husband or your wife or a friend so that they can meet some of your former classmates.
All right, this definitely can't be the first and last interview. We're going to have to remind people as we get a little closer to the dates, but I look forward to hearing how everything pans out.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right, thank you. So Sharon Marshall and Ian Carrington, committee members, are really lifelong friends coming out of being a part of the Barbados Community College early days. From 1973 they entered, so make sure you're a part of that reunion. Hey, we're going to take a break, and when we come back we're going to introduce you to a skateboarder who has a very interesting story to share. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.va.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so I have some friends here with me. I'm already talking with them. You know how it goes. Have to warm up a little bit. So let's welcome Coco Atama and Paul Wilson. And they're two skateboarders who somehow found themselves together. And you know, you guys met just last week, you were telling me, Coco?
Yup. This is my first time on the island to skate. I grew up here long time ago when I was, come over here 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, whatever. I was younger. And now we're here as grown-ups.
All right, so tell me how you got into skateboarding, and particularly because you're blind, so that's the interesting part for me.
So actually, my being blind almost plays into what I do now more than my interest in skateboarding. So when I was younger, when I was born, I could see pretty good. And so I was always playing the Tony Hawk video games and watching shows like Rocket Power and going to the X Games because they were always in my hometown, Los Angeles. And I said, one day, I want to be a pro skater. And I kept saying it. I kept saying it, but I didn't do anything about it. I just had a skateboard. I put around a bit, but I wasn't serious. And then I lost my sight. And that was the most painful thing I ever felt. I felt like, you know, my life doesn't matter. I can't do anything anymore. I'm worthless. And then after a few years of that, I decided, I'm done being a lump. I'm done being a bump. I'm done being negative. I'm done having problems. I'm done feeling worthless. It's time to make my life something. And so I always talk about being a pro skater. Well, now it's time to do it.
Yeah. Was it difficult to move from thinking about doing it to actually doing it?
Yes. Every day it was scary. You go to a brand new skate park where you have to walk around almost on your hands and knees. You feel everything. You commit it all to memory. And, you know, forget about then getting on a board and learning to do tricks and to be comfortable with the board leaving you and getting back onto it in the air, and all while not running into stuff. It's scary. And for a while, I didn't want to use the cane, the blind stick, as you'd say.
Yeah.
I didn't want to for a long time because I thought, oh, people are gonna make fun of me and I'm not gonna be normal. And then that was a newer accomplishment for my mental health. I decided, who cares if I'm not normal? I'll be happy. I'm gonna be efficient, gonna get things done in the best way I can. And you know what? Forget what everyone else has to say. I'm my best me.
Oh, that is truly excellent. Now, Paul, what a personality. This one with Coco
yeah, for sure.
definitely is a go-getter. So talk to me about your first meeting with him. I would imagine when you heard about Coco initially, you know, your thoughts kind of were where mine are. Okay, so he's blind and he's skateboarding. Pretty interesting. Tell me about that initial meeting.
So first off, welcome to the show. Thanks for having us. So we met through a mutual friend called T-Ray. He's a local, he's into music and stuff. His family's background is into music. And he actually skateboards too. And it goes way back, but he's living in, I think between, I'm not sure, Virginia Beach and LA. He met Coco at a skate park. And I'll let him tell you how that went. And they met. He said they're from Barbados. He said, okay, I'm going to Barbados. They had Barbadian ties. T-Ray came back recently and he said, hey, by the way, my friend Coco is coming to Barbados and I want you to kind of show him around because you're probably the best or one of the best persons to help him out, whatever. And then he said, but yeah, he's blind. And I'm like, okay. That's a challenge, but not let it be a challenge because skateboarding, there's always challenges and you gotta overcome them at some point in time. And he messaged me and said, hey, super excited to come to the skate park, blah, 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 blah. When we get there, let's go. And I'm like, okay. We meet up and to this point in time now, it's been overwhelming. I like filming and he's like, hey, let's film this. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to film this guy try this stuff because one, he's blind, but his passion, his
Coco is here laughing at you so bad.
Yeah, he traumatized me a couple of times, but it's okay. But it's just knowing how he's so positive and like go to get anything. He's like, it overwhelms. Like, okay, if he says he's gonna do it, I'm gonna trust him to do it, and I'm gonna help him do it because it helps me too. Because a lot of people out there with challenges, you know, it's a very hard thing to deal with, and the general public doesn't know how to deal with those persons, you know, and he'd probably be the best person to tell you about some of those challenges. So it's very incredible and overwhelming to meet him, and it's definitely changed something in my life to see how he deals with it and how other people would deal with certain disabilities. So kudos to Coco and his family and everyone that supports him.
Wow, amazing. And we're looking at some footage of Coco at the skate park. I want to know what's going through your head when you're out there skating and doing these trips, these tricks and flipping and just doing all of this amazing stuff, Coco.
That he doesn't even know. Well, he does know, but to the layout of the skate park, you know, it's like there's no one next to him. That's all like him.
Yeah, I gotta tell you. So going to any new skate park is terrifying. It's always terrifying. But you know what? If I'm gonna be, you know, the next Tony Hawk, Rodney Mullen, Steve Caballero, it don't matter. If I'm gonna be the next big pro skater, I gotta overcome this. I have to. I guess my point is, it doesn't matter if I'm scared. Some people always say, oh, you're so fearless, you know, you're not scared of anything. I'm scared of everything. But I'm not going to let the fear slow me down. In fact, if I'm scared of something, that's more of a reason to go for it. Because then, if you're scared of something, it's a question. You're hesitant. It's, can I get this? Will this work? Will whatever? So if you're scared of it, do it, because then you get your answer. Then you know either one, hey, this is the thing I can do. I didn't have to be scared. Or you know, okay, this is not my thing. I'm not going to do it again. But you have the answer instead of being stuck with a question forever.
What about new tricks? How do you study the tricks that are done? Are you working with pro skaters like Paul here? Are you working with, as you travel, as you move around, depend on them to do new tricks and so on?
It's both. So when I want to learn something new, I have someone show me what it's like, or show me if it's even possible, because there's like the 2 block at the skate park, and when I first looked at it, day one here, I was thinking, you know what, can I just drop off, hit this one and one instead of going over both of them at once? And I looked at it and I said, no, that's not happening. And then I dreamed about it. I went home and I was thinking about it. And day 2, I come back and I say, you know what, I'm gonna try that. And so we looked at it, we planned up the distance, and then I came to, I don't remember who it was. It was Ashan.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, can I hold your hand and roll towards it? And I want you to sort of be an anchor I can hold on to in case I fall. And I'm just going to feel it out one and one. Let's see if it can be done. And I do it 3 times after falling, 20 times, 30 times. And then after that, I say, all right, you know what? Now I'm going to let go of you, and I'm just going to do it by myself. And I come down, and it works. So then there's a quarter pipe behind it. So I think, all right, I'm going to start over here at the 2 block. I'm going to go over towards the quarter pipe. I'm going to do a kick turn, and then my trucks lock on, so it was perfect. And then I come back, and then we work out the angle. And I say, all right, so do I need to turn a little to the right? Am I good here, left, straight on, whatever? And they call it out. And then after they call it out, I send it, go in, hit the quarter pipe, come back, turn a little to the right, and if I'm good, they'll tell me, and if not, I'll stop. And then they call it out, and I go down 1 and 1, and it's perfect. And then the next day I come back, and I do it again, and I add a line to it, a kick turn at the rainbow, and then come back, do a pop shove on flat.
Wow.
Yep.
Your spatial intelligence is through the roof. And I would imagine that skateboarding has helped to add to that, just describing, because for us, someone with vision would describe it so differently,
yeah.
As compared to how you describe it. But I think what's more, for you to talk about falling down 20 to 30 times and getting back up to make sure that you can make this happen is the bigger lesson. That's the real positive.
That's what skateboarding is. You're gonna fall, stumble, tumble, bumble.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt yourself sometimes, unless you learn how to fall properly, wear your helmet, wear your pads, do whatever. That's the other thing. People like to make fun of you for wearing helmet and pads. Oh, it's not cool. You know what? You know what's really not cool? Getting hurt and then you can't skate for a week because you didn't wear your helmet and your pads.
Yeah.
I want to keep skating every day. I can't be down. If I'm down, I'm sad.
Wow. It truly is a wonderful life lesson, though.
Yeah.
And I can just see, the way that you're watching him with admiration, Paul, what it has meant to you to be able to engage with Coco.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, even the simple things to me is not even him trying the tricks, is seeing him fall, get back up, not ask for assistance to step over something he's not too familiar with, and just the persistence. You know, something I did in my life with skateboarding because it saved my life, and it's something that I always want to give back. So if there's any time that skateboarding can help me meet someone or encourage anybody, I'm gonna help them. And to see him with his adversity and not letting it be something that holds him down is a life lesson to anybody. You could have whatever, you can do it. Like I even I said the second time before, hey, I'm gonna even try to go down this thing blindfolded.
Wow.
And look what happened. You know,
Yes,
I wanted to give you all the footage, but obviously I wasn't wearing my helmet because with me things are so spontaneous.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna prove it. And it really cemented how incredible
he is
and what he's doing. It's not easy.
I want to thank you so much, Coco, for sharing your story. And keep on keeping on. I'm looking forward to hearing more about you as pro skater, fist bump, and all good stuff.
You know it's coming. And it's coming because I want it. And you know what it is? It's in here. If it's in your heart and you believe that you can, and it's something you want and you know in your heart it's right there for you, you take it. Nobody tell you can't. People are going to try. They'll stand in your way. They'll say, oh, maybe you shouldn't, or do this instead. No, none of that. If you want it, you get it. Whether you can see, you can't hear, you can't walk, you're tall, short, black, white, blue, green, purple, it don't matter. If you want it, you get it. And if somebody tell you can't, you just say, watch me.
You've just made our Monday. You've made our Monday. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us lessons for life. You know, sometimes it's so easy to complain. Yeah, but you just, you know, you put all of that out of the window. Thank you so much, Coco Atama.
Thank you
for coming through and sharing with us. Welcome back to Barbados. And Paul Wilson as well. We definitely are going to come out to the skate park and we want to see some of those videos. We want to thank you for tuning in for Morning Barbados today as well. Coming up tomorrow, conversations on CARICOM. We're going to be revisiting CARICOM's 50th anniversary Heads of Government Conference held 3rd to 5th of July in Trinidad and Tobago, and looking at some of the suggestions coming out of that and where we're heading. Also Barbadians in Liberia, Children of Lemongrass Street, the documentary that's just been released is going to be on the topic, one of the topics that we discuss as well. So on behalf of the entire team, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to wish you a fantastic day today. Remember to wear your smiles as you go through your day, and even if you fall 30 times, do like Coco and get back up. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up.